Imagine stepping onto a familiar trail, the scent of pine in the air, the crunch of leaves under your boots. Imagine stepping onto a familiar trail, the scent of pine in the air, the crunch of leaves under your boots. You've walked this path 100 times, but this time, something is different. This time you take a step and then, nothing. You simply vanish. For decades, the vast, untamed wilderness across the globe has swallowed people whole, leaving behind only chilling questions and baffling mysteries. What if the very ground beneath your feet could erase you without a trace? These aren't just campfire stories or urban legends. These are real people with families, jobs, and lives who went for a walk, a camping trip, a simple adventure, and were never seen again. No remains, no clues, just an empty space where a human being once stood. The most extensive search and rescue operations involving hundreds of people, dogs, and aircraft often turn up absolutely nothing. It's as if they were plucked from reality. Today we're diving into the unsettling, true tales of those swallowed by the wilderness, confronting the unimaginable, and exploring the perplexing mysteries that defy all logical explanation. Let's open our first case file, the eerie silence of the high peaks. Consider the story of a seasoned hiker. Let's call him Alex. Alex was a man who knew the mountains like the back of his hand. He was an expert navigator, always over-prepared with top-of-the-line gear, food, and communication devices. One clear, sunny morning, he set out on a popular, well-traveled trail for a day hike. He messaged his family from the trailhead, full of excitement. He was seen by other hikers near the summit, cheerful and in good health, and then he was gone. He never made it back to his car. An immediate search was launched. For weeks, teams scoured every inch of that mountain. They rappelled down cliffs, searched crevices, and flew drones over the entire area. They found nothing. Not a footprint off the trail, not a discarded wrapper, not his backpack, not a single piece of his state-of-the-art equipment. It was a complete and total blank. A search and rescue coordinator was quoted as saying, "It's one of the most baffling cases I've ever worked." It's as if he evaporated into the thin mountain air, the absence of any sign of struggle. A fall or even a simple mistake makes cases like this profoundly disturbing. How does an experienced individual vanish without a trace from a busy trail on a perfect day? When faced with such a complete lack of evidence, investigators are forced to consider every possibility, even those that seem to push the boundaries of our understanding. Of course, the most logical explanations are explored first. Could a sudden, hyper-localized weather event, like a microburst or a flash flood, have occurred so quickly and violently that it left no time to react and erased all evidence? It's possible, but unlikely to leave zero debris. What about a rare and unusual animal encounter? Again, a predatory attack would almost certainly leave behind signs, torn clothing, blood, tracks. But in these cases, there is nothing. The silence is the most terrifying clue. This leads us to the human element of these tragedies. For the families left behind, the not knowing is a unique and relentless form of torture. They are suspended in a state of perpetual limbo, unable to grieve, unable to move on. Every rustle of leaves, every news report of a discovery brings a fresh wave of hope and potential heartbreak. They are left to grapple with questions that have no answers, replaying the lost moments, searching for a clue that even the experts couldn't find. The emotional toll is immeasurable, a wound that never truly heals because there is no closure. When logical explanations fail, the human mind naturally seeks answers in the unconventional. This is where we venture into the whispers from the shadows. For centuries, indigenous cultures from around the world have passed down legends of the wilderness. These aren't just stories, but deeply held beliefs about the nature of these wild places. They speak of forest spirits, guardians of the land, or even malevolent entities that can lead travelers astray or claim them. In some Native American traditions, there are tales of beings that can mimic human voices to lure people off the path. In Irish folklore, you hear of 5 paths, where stepping in the wrong place could transport you to another realm entirely. While modern investigators may dismiss these as folklore, for many, they offer an explanation where science cannot. And then there are the cryptids. In the Pacific Northwest, nearly any unexplained disappearance in the deep woods will inevitably bring up the name Bigfoot or Sasquatch. The theory suggests these large, elusive primate-like creatures may be responsible, perhaps abducting people for reasons we can't comprehend, and being intelligent enough to cover their tracks perfectly. In other parts of the world, similar legends exist, from the Yeti in the Himalayas to the Yowie in Australia. While there is no definitive scientific proof for these creatures, the sheer volume of anecdotal reports and the unsettling nature of these disappearances keep the theory alive in the public consciousness. It's a speculative leap, but when a person vanishes into thin air, people start looking for explanations that are as extraordinary as the event itself. Beyond cryptids, we find even more abstract theories. Some researchers and amateur sleuths have pointed to strange clusters of disappearances in national parks, like the infamous Missing 411 phenomena, suggesting a common yet unidentified factor. Theories range from geological anomalies creating infrasound that causes disorientation and panic, to the highly speculative idea of naturally occurring portals or dimensional rifts. Could a person unknowingly stumble into a pocket of reality where the laws of physics as we know them are temporarily suspended? It sounds like science fiction, but in the face of zero evidence, no theory is entirely off the table for those desperate for an answer. These ideas highlight a fundamental human need to find patterns and create narratives, especially when confronted with the terrifyingly random and inexplicable. So, what connects these disparate cases? What is the thread that runs through the story of the seasoned hiker who vanished on a clear day, the child who disappeared from a campsite within sight of his parents, or the hunter who stepped behind a tree and was never seen again? The commonality is the profound and absolute lack of explanation. It's the bizarre circumstances that defy logic, the absence of tracks, the abandonment of crucial supplies, and the fact that these disappearances often happen in areas that are later searched with a fine-toothed comb, yet yield nothing. It's the unnerving feeling that the wilderness itself is an active participant, a keeper of secrets that it refuses to give up. These stories force us to confront a humbling reality. Despite all our technology, our knowledge, and our confidence, we are not always in control. The natural world remains a place of immense power and deep mystery. Perhaps some of these disappearances do have simple, albeit tragic, explanations that were just perfectly hidden by circumstance. But for others, the mystery endures, leaving us to wonder. The wilderness holds secrets we may never truly understand. And perhaps the most chilling thought of all is this: what if some disappearances aren't meant to be solved? What do you think is behind these strange cases? Share your own theories and ideas in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective. If these stories of the unknown fascinate you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more explorations into the world's greatest mysteries. Thank you for watching, and stay safe out there.